So let's talk about our vocabulary. We have improper fractions. Improper means not proper. So an improper fraction is when the numerator is either equal to the denominator or the numerator is greater than the denominator. So 3/3 is an improper fraction. 17/3, where 17 is greater than the 3 in your denominator. Those are improper fractions. Or your next word this week is mixed numbers. This is when I mix a whole number is mixed with a fraction. So it's mixed like this. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so yesterday we saw this. Okay, there's how many parts of the whole? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are fifths because there's 5 parts of the whole. How many total fifths? There's 8 fifths. Okay, or another way to say the exact same thing is you could say this represents one whole because the whole thing's shaded. And what about this model? 3 of the fifths are highlighted or shaded. So that equals 1 3/5. Okay, then we had 1, 2, 3, 3 wholes. Here's our mixed number, 3 wholes. And how much of this is shaded? 1 of these 3. As I was saying, there's 3 in each whole. So how many? These are all thirds because there's 3 parts of the whole. How many total thirds are shaded? 10 thirds. Okay, also, we talked about here is an improper fraction, and we had to do our Optimus prime, and we turned it into a mixed number. So 48 twelfths, well, 12 twelfths would make the whole. So I had 4 12 twelfths would equal a total of 48 twelfths. And then it went into 48 evenly. 12 goes into 48 4 times evenly. So it equaled our Big Daddy whole 4. Okay. But then we have something like 13 halves. So 2 halves make a whole. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wholes, which was 12 halves. And I needed just one more to make our 13 halves. So that's 6 1/2. So yesterday we used models to help us convert our improper fraction to mixed numbers. Okay, we're going to take it now a step further. So here I have some improper fraction. So like 7 halves. So now you know what it's like to do it with models. Let's talk about just using our brain and using it that way. So here I have 7 halves. Well, 2 halves would make a whole. So how many times does 2 fit into 7? Well, 2 goes into 7 3 times. It goes in there 3 times. So 3 Big Daddies, 3 times. Well, what is 3 times 2? It's 6. So how many more halves do I need to make 7? I would just need one more what? Halves. What if I have 5 thirds? Well, 3 thirds would make a whole. So how many times does 3 go into 5? It goes in there 1 time. So Big Daddy 1. I can make one whole. And what is one group of 3? Well, that would be 3. So how many more thirds do I need to make 5? Well, that'd be 2 more, right? I would need 2 more what? Thirds. What if I have 6 halves? Well, again, 2 halves make a whole. So how many times does 2 go into 6? 2 goes into 6 3 times. What is 3 groups of 2? 6 equally, right? So I don't need any more halves. I already have it goes in there 3 equal times. How many times? Okay, so I have 28 sixths. So 6 would equal our whole. So then how many wholes can I make out of this? Well, how many times does 6 go into 28? Well, 6 times 4 is 24. So Big Daddy 4, so make 4 wholes. Well, 4 groups of 6 is 24. So how many more 6 would I need to make 28? Well, 24, count up, 25, 26, 27, 28. I would need 4 more, what? 6. All right, so this is where we turn improper fractions to a mixed number. Okay, let's continue our Optimus prime, as they say in the video that you should have already watched on vocabulary. And let's now turn to our mixed numbers into improper fractions. Okay, so you know Texas is abbreviated TX. That strategy is going to really help us, okay? So I'm going to put a T between our whole number and our numerator and an X between our whole number and our denominator, okay? So all I did is squeeze a TX for Texas, okay? We know that, I think I mentioned this the other day, these are 8/5. Well, these are also 1 3/5. Regardless of which way, we're both looking at fifths. These are thirds. No matter what, 10 thirds or 3 1/3, they're still thirds. These are tenths. They will stay tenths. These here are sixths. They will stay what? Sixths. So I like to call this denominator, I like to call it our diva. Denominator, diva. Because it's all about, they're so selfish. They only think about themselves. It's always about the diva. So it's always about the denominator. So keep that in mind, because here, 1 3/6, they're sixths, right? It's all about the diva. My 6 is my diva. So I'm going to start with the diva because it's all about her. So I'm going to just follow a big circle. So first I'm going to say 6 times 1, which is what? 6. I'm going to go up and I'm going to add 3. So 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So 9 what? 9/6. This is all about the diva. So take a look at there. So 1 3/6 is equivalent to 9/6. So here we did our Optimus Prime, and we transformed our mixed number into our improper fractions. Okay, let's do another one. I have 3 1/3. I put my Texas, my T, my X, and I'm going to start with my diva, all about the diva. So I'm going to say 3 times 3 is what? 9. Plus 1 is 10. 10 what? 10 thirds. Here I have 1 1/2. I put my Texas, my T, X. I start with my diva. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 more makes 3. 3 what? Halves. And please, friends, do not call these twos. I've had to get on to a few of my kids in class. Those aren't twos, those are halves. Just like if I had those, that's not threes, that's thirds. Okay, make sure we're saying correctly. All right, our next one is 3 1/5. I put my Texas. Okay, start with my diva. What is 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. 16 what? Fifths. 11 1/3, I put my Texas. Start with my diva. 3 times 11 is 33, plus 1 is 34. 34 what? Thirds. Here I have 4 6/9. Put my Texas. Starting with my diva. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 1 plus 6, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. I counted up. 42 what? Ninths. All right, our last one, put my Texas. Starting with the diva. 12 times 10. Oh, well, look. 12 times 10. We know how to multiply anything by 10. I just put my 12, and how many eggs do I lay? 1. So that's 120, and then I'm going to add 4. That's 124. So it's 124 what? Twelfths. All right, today you guys are going to practice mixed numbers 4. There's only 3 questions. I want you to make sure and do your best.